Dawn of War 2 Retribution Campaign.
10 years ago, we Blood Ravens destroyed the demon Alkair, ending his schemes to rot Subsector Aurelia into a festering hellscape. We thought our victory would mark the end of the war for the sector. We were wrong. New demonic incursions relentlessly plagued her planets, Aurelia, Typhon, Calderis, and Meridian. In response, the Imperial Guard, the hammer of the Emperor, was deployed en masse to the sector to secure her, to defend her. Yet the incursions only grew in number, and soon were worsened by insurrection and madness among the Guard's ranks. Now the sector sits helpless, racked by constant, endless, unremitting war. We are Space Marines. We are the Blood Ravens. We would act, yet we too are locked in warfare with one another. Azariah Kairos, our chapter master and chief librarian, has declared the heroes of Aurelia to be renegades. Now we are hunted by our own brothers unaware of the chapter master's secret allegiance to Alkair. A corrupt Space Marine chapter master, a militia crippled by disorder and turmoil, demons, renegades, a sector that knows only war. The Imperium has had enough. One solution remains for the sector, a solution with which I am all too familiar. The Ordo Malleus approaches, the Holy Imperial Inquisition. Their colossal ships bear the munitions to perform exterminatus, cleansing every planet of the sector of life, Xenos and human, corrupt and innocent. Declared renegade, I cannot act against Kairos without shedding the blood of my brothers. Yet, hope endures. A handful of heroes still remain in service to the chapter, uncorrupted by Kairos' heresy. Led by Captain Diomedes, these heroes hunt the remnants of the vile Black Legion across the sector. However, Diomedes' hubris blinds him to Kairos' true nature. If the sector and chapter is to survive, he must first overcome his own pride.
Ten years after the events of the Chaos Rising campaign, the Retribution campaign found the Blood Ravens back on Typhon Primaris. Captain Diomedes tracked Chaos Lord Elephas to the jungle world and was determined to terminate the fallen Space Marines command once and for all. The Space Marines fought the Black Legion and its corrupted minions as they pursued Elephas through the dense terrain. They eventually caught up with Elephas and fought him valiantly until he fell. With his death, the Black Legion ceded control of the region and withdrew to regroup. The Blood Ravens' victory was short-lived as the corrupted Chapter Master Kairos continued his crusade to eliminate the loyal Space Marines. In an unexpected turn of events, relief came in the form of a communique from Inquisitor Adrastia. She announced that the investigation against Kairos had intensified and could result in an exterminatus. This meant the death of every living Imperial citizen in the sector, all in the name of purging corruption.
The Ordo Hereticus of the Inquisition will soon deal with these problems in a quite permanent fashion. Exterminatus. The complete and utter destruction of every inhabited world in this sector. No one will be spared. Traitor, Xenos, or loyal. All will die.
Following the death of the Chaos Space Marine Lord Elephas, the Blood Ravens deployed to the Ladon Temple ruins of Typhon Primaris. Their objective was to secure the region and investigate reports of rebel Imperial Guard forces that had broken their oaths to serve the Emperor and the Imperium. Undeterred, the rebel Imperial Guard committed their most powerful asset to the battle, the vaunted Baneblade heavy tank.
Feel the might of the Baneblade!
This massive armored beast harassed the Blood Ravens' flanks and almost destroyed them. The Space Marines steadily advanced. They managed to destroy the enemy's targeting cogitators, which caused the enemy's automated defense network to turn against them. The Blood Ravens fought the renegade Imperial Guard regiments among the ancient ruins. The Space Marines eliminated the Bane Blade menace by turning the rebel defense grid against their masters. No quarter was asked. None was given to the traitorous rebels. Afterwards, the rebel stronghold easily fell, and the Blood Ravens secured control of the operational area.
We are engaged in a mutiny most foul against the chapter's leadership. I am issuing a stand-down order to all Blood Ravens in Argus settlement. Cease this pointless slaughter at once.
The Space Marines deployed to Argus settlement on Calderis as the civil war within the Blood Ravens chapter intensified. Evidence gathered by Inquisitor Adrastea raised even more suspicions against Chapter Master Kyrus, but many Blood Ravens remained loyal to him. Captain Diomedes led a strike force to secure the settlement against the rebel Blood Ravens. A bitter conflict ensued between former battle brothers. Loyal Space Marines found themselves fighting fellow Blood Ravens who had chosen to stand with Kyrus. Advancing through heavily defended streets and fortified positions, the Space Marines engaged rebel forces and systematically dismantled all organized resistance. By the end of the operation, the Loyalists had secured Argus settlement and terminated Kyrus' supporters with extreme prejudice. The future of the Blood Ravens chapter itself would be decided by the outcome of the war now raging within its own ranks.
Listen up, Gates!
The Space Marines deployed to Blood River on Calderis after intelligence reported a large Orc convoy advancing towards an Imperial supply depot. If the Orcs seized this strategic point, it would serve as a strong foothold on Calderis, an occurrence that the Blood Ravens could not allow. Rather than engage the Orc convoy immediately, the Space Marines raced ahead to the supply depot, where it would prepare an ambush. Advancing through the Orc patrols in fortified positions, the Blood Ravens secured the approaches to the depot. They also destroyed key bridges that would delay the enemy's advance and force them into predictable kill zones. The Orc convoy finally arrived at the depot. There, they launched a determined assault comprised of Orc boys, Storm boys, walkers, and armored vehicles. The Space Marines held their ground against countless waves of Orc troops, systematically destroying each assault in succession. After what seemed like an eternity, the Orc offensive had been shattered, and the supply depot remained in Imperial hands. The victory prevented the Orcs from establishing a foothold on Calderis and permitted the Blood Ravens to turn their attention once more to their chapter's civil war.
On the frozen world of Aurelia, Chaos forces seized control of the Minos Iceworks complex and turned it into a fortified stronghold. The facility had been converted into a hub of heretical industry and warp activity, with Chaos Space Marines and cultists entrenched throughout its corridors and processing halls. Imperial forces advanced through the outer defenses of the Iceworks, fighting through heavy resistance and clearing fortified positions as they pushed deeper into the facility. They met heavy resistance as Chaos forces were reinforced by warp-spawned incursions and ritual sites that sustained their presence within the complex. The Space Marines identified the core of the infestation, a functioning warp conduit being used to funnel additional Chaos reinforcements into the Minos Iceworks. The advance then focused on breaking the inner defenses surrounding this nexus, where elite Chaos warriors and heavy war engines held the line. After intense combat in the heart of the facility, the warp conduit was destroyed, severing the flow of reinforcements and collapsing the Chaos foothold. With their central anchor eliminated, the remaining Chaos forces were easily defeated. The Iceworks was reclaimed and purged of its corruption.
The Blood Ravens deployed to the icy world of Aurelia. Military intelligence reported that the Imperial Guard stationed within the Chapter Keep Selenon had joined the forces of Chaos. The Space Marines advanced against the heretics, cutting through their fortified positions with precision and determination. The Imperial Guard attempted to halt the Blood Ravens' advance, but to no avail. The traitors launched waves of troops only to be cut down mercilessly by the Space Marines. The Imperial Guard brought their tanks and scout walkers to bear, only to see them all reduced to scrap. The Space Marines hunted down the pockets of traitors, determined to bring the Emperor's justice against all who betrayed their oaths to the Emperor of Man. The Space Marines finally reached the main gate of the commanding general who led the traitor Imperial Guard forces. Within the compound, the Blood Ravens were beset by the general in his personal heavy tank, as well as his personal honor guard. The battle was fierce, but the Blood Ravens would not be denied that day. With the destruction of the armored beast, the general and his traitor forces all fell to the loyal forces of the Emperor.
Death, lunatic! Death comes for all!
On Aurelia, the once beautiful capital gardens had become a battlefield as Chaos forces spread corruption to the planet's capital district. The Blood Ravens advanced into the gardens to break the enemy's hold on the area and restore a path toward the heart of the city. Fighting through shattered plazas, ruined monuments, and overgrown walkways, the Space Marines encountered entrenched Chaos cultists, traitor guardsmen, and Chaos Space Marines defending key positions throughout the district. The corruption of the warp had twisted parts of the gardens into hostile ground, forcing the Blood Ravens to advance methodically while eliminating enemy strongpoints. As the assault continued, Imperial forces secured critical objectives across the district and cut apart the Chaos defenses that protected the capital's approaches. After a series of hard-fought engagements, the remaining defenders were overwhelmed and the district was brought back under Imperial control. By the end of the battle, the Blood Ravens had reclaimed the capital gardens, weakened the Chaos grip on Aurelia's capital, and opened the way for further operations against the enemy leadership.
Priority Vox Channel Secondus. This is the Ascendant, Azariah Kairos. Marvelously done, Sergeant. Your slaughter of your own brothers in arms shall bring much favor from Khorne.
On the Imperial hive world of Meridian, the towering spire Golgotha came under attack as Orc freebooters attempted to seize its vital power infrastructure. If the generators fell, the spire's defenses and essential systems would be crippled, leaving the district vulnerable to further invasion. The Blood Ravens deployed to secure the network of power nodes before the Orcs could destroy or loot them. Fighting through mobs of boys, Lutus, Stormboys, and armored vehicles, the Space Marines established defensive positions around each generator while repelling repeated Orc counterattacks. As the battle intensified, the Orcs launched increasingly determined assaults in an effort to overwhelm the Imperial defenses. Their advance was driven by a powerful Weird Boy whose psychic influence galvanized the Greenskin Horde and threatened to turn the battle in their favor. The Blood Ravens pressed the attack, slew the Weird Boy, and secured the remaining power nodes. With the Orc assault broken and the Spire's power network preserved, Spire Golgotha remained in Imperial hands, denying the Greenskins another foothold on Meridian.
Warhost, hold fast!
The Blood Ravens landed on the planet Typhon Primaris, where they had tracked their traitorous chapter master, Kairos. Instead of finding their quarry, they encountered an Eldar strike force from Craftworld Bieltan, which had landed on the planet to perform a powerful psychic ritual. Believing the Eldar to be allies of Kairos, the Blood Ravens launched a full assault against the Eldar. Fierce fighting erupted throughout the region as Aspect warriors, Wraith constructs, and Eldar seers fought to protect their ritual from Imperial interference. After overcoming the Eldar defenders and disrupting the ritual, the Blood Ravens discovered that they had been manipulated into destroying the Elder by Kairos. The Eldar ritual would have served to delay the arrival of the Imperial Inquisition fleet's mission to conduct an exterminatus on Typhon Primaris. Realizing they had unwittingly advanced Kairos' plans, the Blood Ravens were forced to abandon the planet before the entire world was consumed by the firepower of the exterminatus itself.
Blind, murderous fools!
Following the destruction of the Eldar and the interruption of their ritual on the planet Typhon Primaris, the Imperial Navy arrived over the doomed planet and initiated the exterminatus. This operation resulted in the total bombardment of the planet to eradicate all life. As the surface burned, every surviving faction, Tyranids, Orcs, and Chaos forces alike fought desperately to escape the doomed world. Caught in the midst of the chaos, the Blood Ravens abandoned their pursuit of Chapter Master Kairos. The Space Marines raced toward an Imperial extraction beacon before the exterminatus consumed the entire planet. Their advance became a running battle through collapsing defenses and war-torn ruins, where desperate enemies all clashed with one another as they sought for a means to leave the planet. Despite the relentless devastation raining down from orbit, the Blood Ravens forged ahead, cutting a path through the encroaching Tyranids, rampaging orcs, and Chaos Warriors determined to survive the cataclysm. The Blood Ravens ultimately reached the extraction point and evacuated moments before the Exterminatus claimed the planet and all their lives.